Hello, my name is Paul Wyatt, and today I want to talk a little bit about prosthetic and bionic technologies. Now, I understand this is probably something of a strange topic that you don't see too often, but I feel I have some good reasons to discuss this. Primarily today, what I will be discussing is what's currently available in technology, in prosthetics and bionics, a look at what's around the corner and down the line for what this technology could produce. And more important than any of that, I really want to talk about what the potential ethical ramifications of some of the applications of this technology are. Now, the reasons I want to discuss this are a couple different ones. First of all, I do have a very large, very academic interest in this technology, but also I have something of a connection to what's going on. My girlfriend's mother was actually involved in the Harvard study that was able to successfully link a cord to a cat's optical nerve. This allowed the scientists to see whatever the cat was seeing on a television, and the same technology is now being used in the application and development of human prosthetic eye technologies. Now, this would be a machine implanted in the eye socket which would replace a damaged or non-functional eye and return the same functionality. In effect, this machine would allow a person to see, and for all intents and purposes, it would look like a standard eye. What you're seeing here is just some of the early concept design sketches for this machine. Now, this isn't the first time that we've used technology to replace one of the very delicate sensory organs. What you're seeing here is what's on the market today, known as a cochlear implant. This is a machine that operates both outside and inside the body that's been able to cure many forms of deafness, a few genetic varieties, and quite a few of the varieties that involve damage to the ear. What this actually does is it bypasses both the eardrum and some of the very delicate bones in the ear that assist in hearing. Instead, the speaker on the outside directly translates the vibrations into the inner ear area called the cochlea, which then the nerve impulses get translated to the brain as hearing. But it's also not the only thing available in prosthetic technologies today. What you're seeing here is one of the newer models of the prosthetic replacement arm. This is a machine that actually has the same functionality as a hand. It responds to some nerve and many muscle impulses, cause the hand to open or close and the wrist to move, and return some of the same mobility that these people had when they had their arm. Now, what you're seeing here is a man who has enough trust in his prosthetic that he's using his good hand to hold a screw, while his prosthetic to use a power tool in the same area. Now, this illustrates the fact that many of these prosthetics are becoming so advanced and so delicate in their control that they're getting very close to the same type of functionality that a human arm would have. Now, this development isn't going to stop here. You're going to see a lot of prosthetics get to the same level as human ability. You're going to see a lot of these technologies actually potentially improve beyond that fact. It could be that prosthetic technology could improve upon making people better or faster and actually healthier. What you're seeing here is a concept sketch for what's called a nanotech medachine. This would be a tiny machine in the bloodstream that would assist with everyday function. That includes immune system, healing of damage, or any number of genetic or other flaws inside the human body that can be repaired. Now, the point of this is not just to return lost functionality for the handicapped or the injured. The point of this is to augment and go beyond what's currently available to the human body for lifespan and quality of life. The point of this is by making this technology readily available, we can improve not just the quality of those who can afford it, but for everyone. Now, the applications don't just stop at medicine, however. What you're seeing here is a clip from the popular anime Ghost in the Shell, which very often illustrates these concepts for what this technology is capable of in a multitude of facets. Now, one of the central factors is augmentation by choice. This is the idea that someone might choose to have a limb replaced with a prosthetic limb to gain some of the additional functionality they wouldn't have normally. This concept sketch was commissioned by Nike to show what some of their high-performance prosthetics might look like once they're out of development. Now, right now, they're considered to only be for people who have lost a limb, but there will be a time when these prosthetic technologies might really be considered as a choice. You might decide to replace a leg or an arm to have their increased functionality. I mean, imagine athletes who could jump 30 feet or run 80 miles an hour. What we're looking at here is a very powerful technology to improve the human existence. But of course, whenever we're dealing with something that can make someone smarter, faster, or stronger, we will have to consider the inevitability that it will be considered for military applications. Now, this can be a frightening concept, but the important thing here is to remember that our major concern with this is the ethical use of this technology. Now, if it's true that we can make our soldiers better, faster, and stronger, our first concern is the soldiers' right to choose whether to participate in these programs. In other words, habeas corpus have certain legal ideas in this country, but more so the spirit of it is what I'm looking at today, the right to the body. A soldier should always have the right to choose what happens to them, even in a wartime scenario. Eventually, these people have to come home and reintegrate into their standard life. That's going to be difficult if they're lugging around a prosthetic that's strong, dangerous, and really was meant to be a weapon. We need to treat this technology with the integrity and restraint that it deserves, particularly when we're looking at other similar technologies such as plastic surgery. Now, the reason I bring that up is because there is a documented form of plastic surgery addiction. Now, this wasn't anticipated when plastic surgery first came about, but it's important to consider now that we know this. We have to consider its exposure to the public and how to make sure we're treating these people correctly so they don't form these habits. Now, another possibility we need to consider is that with this technology being as expensive as it is, only a certain percentage of the population will be able to afford it. Now, that population may be considered to have a very unfair advantage. If we don't make this technology available to everyone, then we're really giving a lot of power to a very few number of people. That's why it's more important than ever to understand what restraint and integrity means in this scenario. It means treating this technology with the respect that it deserves.